It's okay.
Juice in the morning. Juice in the morning.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I have a lot of energy today. To my left is the first co-host that has stuck around for more than, I want to say 10 episodes. How are you doing today, Shane?
Good.
All right, so that's
a
all.
wonderful intro. This is the best intro of all time.
That's all we're getting from Shane today.
See you later, guys.
I appreciate it. You can go ahead and walk out the door right now. And across from me is Kevo. He was on the episode last week. We have him back this week. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. Everything's regular, which is always a good thing. I didn't do anything this weekend, which is also a good thing. Part of being an adult is that they say that you have to do these responsibilities, like build things and mow things, and I am an anarchist against that. I have officially decided, nope, that is not happening
So you're
to me.
You're just lazy.
Exactly. we call it
shit.
we call it island life, bro.
Salt life? We're going back to that.
We brown people can get away with that.
All right, and to my right, back again, is Ryan O'Kelly is what I'm going with. How are you doing today, man?
I'm lovely. I actually have a mic now.
Yeah, these set up. We got a good group in here today.
We can still share.
Yeah,
I don't
it was
know if
kind of
yours will
cute.
reach.
Do you guys share?
Yeah, we had
We
to
had
at
to
one
share
time
it.
because
Nice.
Because I was unprepared.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Like I always feel like I have everything ready to go and all in order, and then when we get ready to start doing stuff, it's never.
But also,
never going.
I want to say that I really can't say anything because I don't do any. I just want everyone to know I don't do any of this shit. I don't know how to do any of it. So when I make fun of him, it's really not fair because he's literally doing all of it. So.
All right. See, I can make fun of it because I do this on a regular basis, and this is called winging it.
Hey, that's how this show
Fake it
has
till you make
grown.
it, baby.
But the best shows are wings.
And this show has grown because of that. Because I just am like, hey, why don't we try this? Why don't we try to add another mic?
Wasn't
to
there a
that?
shitty movie in the '90s called Wings?
There was a TV show.
There was a TV. Well, Wings, I think, is the Paul McCartney supergroup with his wife that he did back in the day.
I have no idea about that.
How do you guys feel about Paul McCartney?
I like Paul McCartney.
Isn't
not my
there
favorite
a
one.
conspiracy theory that it's not really him? Somebody just looked like him, and the real Paul McCartney died.
They have that conspiracy for a lot of people.
Are you talking about the guy that Kanye featured on a song and made famous? That old white dude?
Yeah.
That he's bringing back to life, right? Or not bringing back to life, but bringing into the forefront. Who's this Paul McCartney guy?
I don't know. I'm gonna say it. I like Ringo better than Paul McCartney.
No, Ringo's the bomb, dude. Honestly.
Yeah, but he doesn't get the credit he deserves.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But I mean, here's the thing. Paul decided to cut his hair. Ringo's like, you know what? I'm going bald, and I'm still gonna rock the ponytail and the transition glasses because I can. And I'm Ringo.
He just got knighted.
Ringo was knighted?
Yeah, he was knighted. So he's now Sir Ringo Starr.
Yeah, what is
some
involved
respect.
in
Hello, my name is Sir Ringo.
I'm a knight. But I don't have a sword.
Listen to me play the drums.
My drum set's my favourite weapon.
He looked
like a Disney
he looked
character.
like an octopus. I think Dewey Cox was or no, it is when they're all
Dewey
sitting in the
Cox,
circle.
the Sir Ringo Starr the Knight sounds like a Disney character that is like the
It's a badass name, dude.
yeah, I'm okay with that. How have you? I don't know. What could you do to get knighted besides being a musician?
Just be. I'm sure there's actors that have been knighted.
Kill people.
Yeah.
That was aggressive.
I was like, I feel like that's the opposite of what you would do.
Yeah,
to get
I mean,
knighted.
honestly, why did the whole knight thing start? They killed people
Yeah.
for the sake
They're
of the land.
protectors.
Yeah.
They still
It's,
kill people.
it's half full, half empty. Do you want to look at them as like people that protected or people that just murdered?
I like
people?
my theory. So I like my theory because you know Elton John's killed like 5 people.
Yeah, he looks like he's killed. some
Elton
people.
John's killed people.
Ah, totally.
How did he kill people?
Let
Is
me
he
tell
like
you
a
this:
secret agent?
anyone that wears circle sunglasses has killed someone. I promise.
Rocket Man is actually a song about the dead bodies he was sending up to the moon.
Oh my
to
God.
Space.
If
There's no
anyone
way.
had the capabilities to do that, it would be Elton
I'm too
John.
easily
Anybody has the
convinced.
capabilities. His name is freaking.
Ringo Starr.
No,
It's like Elon Musk, like the
Elon Musk. Yeah, that's what I was trying to
Elon
get.
Musk. It's not really a astronaut. Anyone see the picture of his
Fake.
statue? No, it's a dead person in there, just
yeah.
waving away. It's
Oh,
actually the
nice.
guy who first created the self-driving Tesla.
Have
He
you seen
just
their like
wanted to take-
schematics for like the cars that go under the ground and then, like everything's underground cars and shit?
I have not, but I know that he's talking about
Yeah,
that.
so
He's
it's
trying
like
to build
there's
like
cars on-
hyperloops.
Imagine this: there's cars on the side of the road, and then they like transcend, or what is it?
Transcend.
Descend.
Descend. Yeah.
I was like, is this
See?
a
I
Johnny
always got
Depp
you
movie?
with those.
My buddy Mark, Mark,
Yeah.
he thought it would be funny if we did a little skit or whatever where you say like you give me a word that's like really hard and I have to like act like I know what it means or pretend or use it in a sentence. I think that would be pretty
I
funny.
do like that.
But anyways, these cars go down in the ground and then they're like shot like at hundreds and hundreds of miles an hour around in tunnels and shit.
That's awesome.
But there's like a video showing how that they would do it, how much it would cost, like all this
The
stuff.
world needs more Elon Musks because he is literally thinking outside the box, but he's not just some crazy homeless guy on the side of the road thinking outside of the box. He's got the money behind it to actually make it happen.
The world does not need more Elon Musk because then what would happen would be the scenario for Terminator 2 Judgment Day and all
And
these
or-
robots would take over.
I'm already
and or
planning
like
for that.
Lex Luthor type
Right,
shit.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
And Batman, like Batman's over here with his money doing good. And
Right,
Lex
right,
Luthor. So
right.
Elon Musk is Batman.
Right.
And then fucking
Mark Zuckerberg is fucking Lex
no
Luthor.
shit. That fucker is seriously not human.
Speaking of that,
Watch the hearings, man.
And
Like,
what's
Yeah.
interesting about that is the guy that played Lex Luthor also played Mark Zuckerberg in a
that
DC
is true.
movie.
That is true.
Connection.
Yep.
Oh, and he lives in Bloomington.
Who does?
Jesse Eisenberg.
No, he does it.
Yes,
does
he
really?
does.
He's taking
so
classes,
he married.
isn't he?
He married the chick who is the. She's the daughter of the lady who runs Middle Way House
did not
down
know
in
that.
Bloomington. He is always there. He's just chilling at the basketball games.
He's
or
the kind of guy that I
walking
don't think
around
that
a
you would
library.
notice that much because he's not strikingly handsome like Brad Pitt.
He
He's a
totally,
weirdo.
well, no, that he totally fits in Bloomington. He totally looks like he'd be like a grad student or like a doctorate, so no one like bothers him. But yeah, he goes and he chills over there all the time.
That's interesting as fuck.
So from what I understand is that the guy that was in the Batman versus Superman is not Lex Luthor, it's Lex Luthor's son.
Really?
No, I thought it was supposed to be Lex Luthor, but I
Because
could
he
be
talks
wrong.
about his dad in the picture, and this is already in the time frame where the Joker's already killed Robin,
Right.
And like some things have already happened, and Lex Luthor was around. I feel like before, like
I'd have to rewatch it, but I'm pretty sure that his dad was just like super rich, and like he talks about his dad just treating him really poorly. That's why he's the way he is.
Are you sure you're not thinking about Spider-Man and the Green Goblin and Hobgoblin played by the
No.
infamous William
if it's
Dafoe?
one thing I don't say, if it's one thing that I don't
James
say
Franco.
dumb shit about, it's I'm pretty spot on with my comic stuff. But I think I just read something that was along those lines, but I don't know that that's.
Right.
I like to watch movies and then read the like synopsis or whatever. Did I say that right?
Synopsis, that was really good. You
Yeah,
actually
thanks,
got that
man.
one. I
Like
appreciate
I
it.
said, dude, my mind when it goes into movies and comic books, it's clear as day. But then when it's like talking about other shit, it's just like
I don't talk no good.
I don't speak real nice.
I can't even watch a movie anymore without like pulling up Wikipedia as I'm watching.
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I thought you were gonna say I don't even watch movies anymore without pulling out my dick.
That could be a new thing, actually. I'll be like, let's watch Tangled.
Can we act like I'm not the only one in this room that sees a hot girl in a movie and like I wonder if she's ever been anything naked?
What's his actress's name?
Yeah,
The website Mr. Celeb.
yes, the fappening.
The fat. Did you see Reese Witherspoon was the latest victim?
No,
Yes.
the like
Yeah.
stealing of the content or whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
she's got the boobies out and everything.
Oh wow, I'll have to
How
check
are
that
they?
out immediately after this.
Maybe even during.
Mila Kunis also is on there. I don't think her pics have been released.
Yeah.
Oh god, Mila Kunis.
I'm trying to think who else.
Pretty hot.
So
Daisy
hot.
Ridley was rumored to be on there.
Don't know who that is.
Star Wars chick, Ray.
Oh, no.
I bet she's good looking.
She's got some innocence to her that I don't really want to see her
Yeah.
naked.
There's a few other
I'm
ones
okay
too.
with it.
She's
I
too
mean,
good
I'm
for
like, I'm gonna look. I'm just saying.
But yeah, like Jesse Eisenberg played Mark Zuckerberg in the Facebook movie.
Yeah.
And that was also something that was going on in the world this past week.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the situation?
Some weird shit, dude. I think he made a lot of good points of like what bothered me more than like the actual weirdness of the way that he was acting was the dumbass questions that Congress is asking because they're 100 years old and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
This is what I got from watching the whole thing is that Mark Zuckerberg is all of us trying to explain how an iPhone works to our grandparents and parents.
Okay, so the guy goes, "How do you make money?" And he goes, "With ads."
Yeah.
I could have fucking told you that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm no genius, but I know that's how that they. And he's like 180 years old. He's just like, "How do you make your money then?"
Yeah.
Like just.
And then he's like, "Oh, okay." And then he's like completely accepts it.
And then, but they were like, they kept interrupting him. They would ask him a question. He would start to answer, and then they would just interrupt him, and that drove me nuts.
Yeah.
And then there was, I can't remember what the guy was saying, but he was actually looked like he was maybe in like his 50s or early 60s, so he wasn't that old, and he was just like trying to have an argument with him, and what he was saying didn't make any sense.
Right.
And he was like, "I understand that, but," and he was like being very direct with him, and he like what he was saying had no like, it was just
no substance.
Yeah, it was just.
And I had two things that I really wanted to say about it, which is A, it would have been hilarious if Zuckerberg was bringing up stuff that, you know, the about the guy because he is on Facebook or something like that. I think that would be funny because of the fact that they're worried about the privacy and everything like that.
It'd be funny if he just said like his mistress's name.
Yeah.
Like what
You've
about
really been sending a lot of messages to
or just be like
Allison Johnson.
Who's Allison Johnson, sir? And he'd be like, "No further questions."
No further questions. And then the second thing that I was interested in or wanted to bring to light is Jen's dad was here like helping us over the weekend, and we were talking about this last night.
There you go, doing adult things.
And Jen's dad made a great point about privacy, like people being worried about losing their social security number,
as
and
they
things
say
like
in
that.
Britain, privacy.
Exactly.
Privacy.
And everybody being worried about that. And her dad brought up, he was like, it's never really been any different than it is now. It's just on the internet, because he's like, we used to pay for things with checks. That's your bank account information, your routing information. People could take that and steal that right away. He brought up worried about like your address and like where you live and things like that being scraped from the internet. Used to have phone books.
It's like
so you could just go through a phone book and find somebody's name and their address, and
it's like the gynecology of the internet, it's scraping it from the.
I did think that as well.
The internet vagina.
It's actually totally safe. I mean, I have tons of friends who are Nigerian princesses,
and you're supposed to get like millions from each one, right?
It's coming. Right?
I just find them on Instagram and slide in their DMs like, send me money.
But in all honesty, like nothing's private anymore.
No.
I mean, you ever see the movie Snowden?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
I have,
so
yeah.
I mean, essentially, it's just like that. The government is doing things that they're not gonna come out and say it,
Right?
You know, but trust me, if they want to find somebody,
you said
they're gonna find.
You said
somebody.
Snowden. I thought you said Snowden.
Snowden,
like Snow Day. Snow Day. Have you seen the movie Snow Day?
I've seen the movie Snow Day.
Such a good movie.
It's a very underrated film.
Dude, I tried for many, many years after watching that to dig a hole into the ground and then like have a little, like, do you remember that layer that they had?
You wanted to be an Eskimo?
And they had like,
I've done that.
I think it comes back to his roots over here.
He's like, it's a dangerous game.
But they had video games down there and they were just in a hole playing video. I was like, I want to do that.
Ooh, speaking of retro, so yesterday I was over in Carmel and we were in the downtown district. I found a shirt that was selling a Camp Anawana t-shirt.
Is that
Salute Your Shorts, Nickelodeon?
Oh my god!
You guys watched all this stuff that I have no idea what it was.
Clarissa Explains It All.
Nope.
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Nope.
Oh, what?
I didn't watch any of
That
that.
shit
We didn't
scared
have
me.
cable.
What did they have
Sand.
that they threw into?
Sand.
But I've tried that. I threw sand into a campfire. It does not.
I can just
have
see
that
you
same
being like,
effect.
this concludes, Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah. Well, you know, like you're little and you're like,
Yeah,
dude, I want to do what they do on that TV show.
Goosebumps?
And it like puts the fire out.
I did see Goosebumps
Okay.
because that was on like Channel 4.
I never
think.
watched the show. I always read the book.
I read
did
the
as
books.
well.
I did all my book reports on fucking Goosebumps.
The one
Night-
that terrified me was the mask one, where the mask gets stuck on your face. I never wore a Halloween mask after that.
Isn't that a Jim Carrey movie?
That is a Jim Carrey movie as well.
Have you seen that picture of? We're going all over the place here, but Deadpool holding the mask from the mask.
I didn't know.
And he's
That's
like,
awesome.
this could be bad. Could you imagine Deadpool with the fucking mask thing on?
That's a great ad too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Night of the Living Dummy. That was always the one that scared the crap out of me.
What if- okay,
Then they
me too.
continued. Then they continued it with like part 2 and 3.
Right.
I was like, just kill the damn doll already.
All right. What? Okay, let's think of some other really old movies that like, so like Milk Money,
Milk Money with Kim Basinger.
Blank Check.
Blank Check.
Blank Check,
Wrote the
I remember
check. The slide in Blank Check, amazing. Where he bought the house.
My favorite
and
little
he had the water
montage is
slide
when
that went
he's
all the way
like,
down.
my favorite montage is when he's in the limo and he's like getting pizza and like has a leather jacket on.
First kid with Sinbad.
Yeah. Dude. Oh yeah.
He has the 5-gallon bucket of ice cream.
All right,
It's like,
this,
what'd you spend your money on, bro?
this is kind of
Ice
sad,
cream.
but I get laughed about this on a daily basis, and I'm like, why? It's such a good movie, but my favorite movie of all time, hands down, till to this day, I still know every single word to this movie. I can recite it. Cool Runnings.
Cool Runnings. Yeah,
I
that's a
don't
good
even know what
movie.
that is.
You don't know what Cool Runnings is?
What?
Oh,
Sanka,
come on,
you
that's-
dead man?
That's
Yeah.
that's
Sanka,
definitely
you dead man?
Cool running.
Cool
I
Runnings.
got to
Come-
kiss my little egg, my lucky egg.
That is a good movie. What's their little when they're getting ready to do the luge thing? What do they say?
Well, the first time they do it, like,
Give me power, give me fight. I don't know what the.
that's when the dude got punched in the face. When he was like, "Oh man, I don't.
I've
think I
got
can do it.
power. I've got strength.
Oh, he's
I'm
got
a
badass mother
who don't give no shit from anyone."
And then he says that
It's
to
a Disney movie?
Yes, it's
Yeah,
the
dude.
Jamaican.
Why wasn't this
Jamaican
the bracket?
It's a
Not
Jamaican
animated?
bobsled team. So they're the Jamaican bobsled team.
And it's got one of the
funny.
most underrated greatest actors of all time, John Candy.
Yeah,
Uncle
dude.
Buck,
Yeah.
great outdoors.
We also died too early, I think.
Yeah.
So
So we did jump around a lot, but I do want to go back to these the questions that were asked of Zuckerberg. There's a list of the dumbest questions that were asked of him. So
Okay.
Yeah.
let's see those real quick.
So we got a list of 10. I do want to read this. Twitter was blown up about this, and it's pretty funny. Some of the memes.
give us like
some fake questions.
3 or 4.
Here's one.
Twitter.
Here's one. It shows an old ass congressman, Senator Chuck Grassley.
He
Looks
sounds
like
old
he's-
as fuck. First
Right.
of all,
Looks like he's 70 years old at least.
If your name's Chuck Grassley, you're old as fuck.
Mr. Zuckerberg, hypothetically, if someone's VCR won't stop flashing 12 o'clock, how would you suggest they fix it? And here's another one.
That's probably the hardest I've ever laughed on this podcast.
Same old man.
Same
Mr.
old man.
Zuckerberg, a magazine I recently opened with a floppy disk offering me 30 free hours of something called America Online. Is that the same as Facebook?
I love the fact that he's still getting American Online CDs.
AOL. Yeah,
AOL.
dude. What was your guys'? Mine was El Camino.
El Camino.
Don't I mean, it's like El Caminos are cool cars. that's my only.
I'm glad that's
that was
the
my only
only-
justification for getting that. And every girl I was ever talking to on there was like sexy princess or like
Or
little
like Cheer or
little
something, like
princess
any sport you were-
72.
So I never had AOL.
You
Like,
were
I
missing
missed-
out. I was
missed
talking to
out.
all the bitches on AOL.
See, right. My lady friend, she was telling me about her AOL stories. I grew up in an army base, so like it was
yeah.
like super regulated, and that was one of the things that we could not have was AOL. So I
along
missed
with
out on that.
along with basic rights and
That's true.
No Taco Bell.
yeah, no
That's
Taco
true.
Bell.
So here's the real questions. Is Twitter the same as what you do? I remember watching this clip,
I did too.
and they were like they were asking him about.
He's like, it's a
competition.
subcategory, and like we branch off into other I don't know how to say it, but we are involved with other things. Yeah,
Yeah,
go
he
ahead.
said he said they do some of what we do, which they were trying to make him admit that he is running a monopoly.
See, the best thing about this was the looks that Mark was giving when he was asking these questions, because it's every single one of us when we try to explain to our non-electronic moms how an iPhone works.
And they're like 5 words or less. Explain this to me. It's like,
Yeah, and then they keep interrupting him, which was
Yeah.
that was the part that kept driving me nuts. But it's like, you know, when you go to your parents' house and this is similar
Right.
to, and they're like, "Can you my iPhone will just keeps like doing this." Like, you know, they come and ask you to fix all this shit at their house.
The thing that drives me insane about anybody that has has trouble with technology is it keeps doing this, and I always respond with, well, it can't do that without the input that you're putting into it. So it's
Yeah.
not doing something completely on its own. It's magic. you are doing something to make this happen.
My dad will text me and say, "What's my email password?" I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like,
my dad's voicemail, still to this day, he's had this phone like for 3 years, and I've mentioned it to him multiple times, is, should I go now? Now? Right now. It's time for me. Okay, let's go.
but to my dad's, I do like I set up all that stuff for my dad. Do you do that for your parents? Like, I know all my dad's passwords to everything. I could take on my dad's.
You could steal his
I
identity.
could. I really could.
It took my dad 20 years to figure out how to finally.
I know the last
clock.
4 of my dad's social.
Yeah.
I know his pin to his debit card. I know.
What I always
Let's go on a shopping spree, bro.
Right, we really could.
what I always tell
Let's
people,
buy a new ride.
what I always tell people too with that situation is like the old saying, it's the Indian, not the arrow. It's always like any kind of technology, anything that people have trouble with, I always, in my family and in my friends, even my wife is like, well, it doesn't work, and like this, and yelling and like just freaking out. And I'm like, it's because
Relax.
you're doing something
Yeah.
wrong. We'll figure it out. It just you freaking out is making like, and they'll just keep doing the same thing.
Have you ever wished that an inanimate object had feelings so you could fucking punch it?
Yes.
Like, I've been like so mad that something wasn't working that I was like, I'm not gonna punch this because it doesn't make any sense. But
that you want to.
Yeah.
You wish it had a face that you could
Yes.
punch.
But
Exactly.
how about if it was like starts crying or something like that?
I'd be like, that's what you get.
That's what you get for not working. Come on.
But by far the worst is when you get like 2 tech dudes trying to explain the same thing to that one person, and it's just like that whole confrontation between each other, and
The frustration that you
bad.
see in like a kind of a nerdy person when they're like explaining something to you, I understand.
That's what we should do. We should take this podcast on the road and have like I don't know. We should go to like one of those game rooms and tell people to explain a game to us in 3 minutes or less, like a Settlers of Catan or.
Oh
or
yeah, for
like
sure. Because I have no
something like
idea how
that.
to play that.
Don't know what that is.
Exactly. See?
It's like a board game, kind of like Risk.
Oh, that explains it. I don't
like the Yu-Gi-Oh!
I don't play board games.
Or the Yu-Gi-Oh card playing kids or
Oh
something.
yeah,
like
Yeah,
for
that.
I mean,
sure. That's why I wanted to take the portable recorder I have.
I was into
to Comic-Con.
Pokemon for like 10 years almost. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but I really have dabbled for like 10 years.
I mean,
and
that's a
you're
little
a
bit more
Pokemon
than
kid?
that's a little bit more than dabbling.
still didn't know how to do the game. I don't know how they fight. I'm like, yeah, they got HP points and like, yeah, this one's, this is what they do, but I don't understand how you can actually play the card game. But I was just super into like, I had a whole book of laminated Pokemon cards.
The cards looked really cool.
Something that I noticed out of the corner of my eye with the questions still from the Facebook thing.
Wait, are we getting
Good.
back on track?
Go ahead and read this real quick.
This fucking Senator Roy Blunt, fanboy, was trying to impress his son.
Wait, did you say
Oh, I heard
fanboy?
this one
Yeah,
too.
well, you wait till you hear it. He took this opportunity to try to impress his son. He says, "My son is dedicated to Instagram, so he'd want to be sure I mentioned him while I was here with you."
Do you think
How did he
fuck,
respond?
At fanboy12.
I have this like picture in my head of like after this happened, all the senators go in this room and they're like, "What the fuck just happened? What did we just do?
Dude,
Damn it!
the Zuck is an
dude,
alien.
There's too much.
Played the mind trick.
We've been out-zucked."
There's too much pride. There's too much pride with senators. They just went back there and they're like, "We fucking got him, yo."
Or they just like didn't. They're like, "Have a good day, guys." Like, see you at the next one.
It's interesting because of the fact that, I mean, people did also bring up the fact that he looked kind of like an alien, and then also they had the picture of him sitting on a booster seat. I'm not judging him for sitting on the booster seat because that chair looked deep. He was trying to portray a little bit more of a professional, more dominant attitude.
Like, I've sat
as
in a chair,
opposed
man.
to-
Like, this chair is not going to work for me.
Yeah, and he's like leaning, like he would have been leaning all
Yeah,
the way
yeah.
back, and that booster seat. I'm like, I think he should. I'm glad he used
What
it.
if they just made him sit in like those little kid chairs? And they're like,
I'm sure that they set it up that way because
To
they're
make
like,
him
they're
look-
like, I
yeah.
want to make sure this fucker feels uncomfortable.
And
Yeah,
he
yeah.
pulled a power move by bringing his own booster seat. Like, that's a good.
What,
Do you think it had
so,
a Facebook logo on it?
Wait,
I
he
bet it
actually
did.
brought a booster seat? Like, I didn't see this.
What,
Really?
there's a picture that when he got up to go to the restroom, somebody snapped a photo because there was a like a pad that was probably 6 inches to a foot like thick, and when he sat in it, that way he didn't sit so far down into the chair. And
So-
I think it's a power move because when everybody talks about getting interviewed and like you are sitting in a chair, you're usually sitting lower than the
Posture,
boss.
yeah. His posture was good, I gotta say.
Maybe he just has bad. He has a bad back.
I'm
What? And then,
almost
He's an
certain it was
alien.
so that he didn't sit so far down.
what in the notes did you mean by I didn't catch this
Oh,
part,
yeah,
but the
yeah, yeah.
notebook being open?
There was another thing where when he went to the restroom, he left his notebook open, which was a picture was snapped of that as well. Because when he got up and left, all the press people just started like rifling through his notebook, and I think he did that. I think he did that on purpose because to show like, well, people are invading my privacy because they're taking all of
he
these
should have
pictures
just
of
wrote.
my.
He should have just wrote "fuck you" on like all the paper, all the.
Well-
and they were just like going through it.
Well, what was funny was
As soon as it's over, there's going to be a ton of memes.
he had responses like pre-written responses. So if they like attack on this is how you respond, which is like really good thinking ahead. But also it showed that like it didn't seem very to me sincere. Somebody probably helped him, or
And then it just-
somebody probably wrote all of those answers.
He wasn't ready for senator or whatever to be like, my son likes Instagram. He was like, I don't know what to say to that, sir.
Cool.
But yeah.
Anyways, can we get back to this press conference?
And I love the people talking about how like he needed to take a drink of his water every like few minutes so that he looked human, because they were like calling him out.
And when he did it, it
being
was
like
like
an
so weird, dude. I've never seen anyone. Dude, he was like, he just like was staring like, and it like it dribbled off his face a little. I don't know. It was freaky.
He's got like tentacles coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, he's like pushing shit back down into his shirt. Oh god, sorry.
That's awesome.
Could you just see him like I see him? Okay, this is a perfect example. Men in Black. The guy's like more sugar water. He's like that guy, and he's like moving around like, and instead of like more sugar, he's like more water, please. All right, so I want to talk about a new shining star
Okay.
in the world today.
Yes.
A young man by the name of, he's going to tell me as soon as I tell him what to look up, the Yodel Kid.
Oh yeah, for sure.
This young man got his claim to fame from doing a little yodel in the old Walmart that I watched his thing on Ellen.
Yeah.
And he said that's what you do. You go to Walmart and you yodel.
He is the most popular Amish kid known in history.
I don't think he's Amish.
I don't know.
No, it's
Definitely
just-
not.
Y'all talking about Mason Ramsey? That's his name, Mason Ramsey.
Oh my god! I mean, like that sounds like his name. Like you could tell me that, and I'd be like, that's
Right.
his name for
Is
sure.
that going to be like a new hipster movement, like yodeling? Like, are they
Oh,
gonna be-
I kind of hope so.
Well, what's hilarious is my
Be
mom is real country. She has horses and stuff, and she's like, man, he's a really good yodeler. And I was like, I had no idea that was a talent that he was doing, because it didn't sound talented to me.
He sang on Ellen. Well, okay, the yodel in the Walmart was a little strange because it's like you're not used to hearing yodeling.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But
like,
when
I
he
don't know
actually
what's
sang,
good.
he wants to grow up and be a country singer. And I think like his favorite, it was like Merle Haggard or something like that.
Hank
or-
Williams.
Good for
Hank-
him.
Yeah.
But
Senior.
is there anything that's
Yeah.
really like ordinary or not ordinary or not weird at Walmart?
Oh, what do you mean?
Like, are you saying is there stuff that's not weird there?
Right.
I wouldn't have
I
been
think
surprised
Walmart
if
is
I
one of
saw
those
that.
places where
know how-
everything's accepted.
I was gonna say, you know how we all know that Walmart's that way because no one was like, "That's weird, a kid's yodeling at Walmart." No one said that
Yeah.
because
Right.
everyone's
They're
like
just like-
completely accepted it. Like,
Right.
yeah,
It's
that,
Yeah,
it's
someone was yodeling in
because
Walmart.
Walmart started in Arkansas, so it's just accepted.
I was just instantly surprised. Like, it's crazy how the internet works. Like, I just seeing that video when it first started making the rounds of the viral stuff. Like, it's up to like 6 million views or something.
just take
like that.
one little look at the crowd at Coachella.
Yeah.
Dude, there was hundreds and hundreds of thousand people, and this
Yeah.
little kid is standing there going, like,
And then
Did he go?
and
Was he
he's
there?
he's at Coachella.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and he either has or is going to play at the Grand Ole Opry because
Yes.
Ellen got him He's like, my dream in life is to play at the Grand Ole Opry.
So what's
Oh, yeah,
amazing
he's
is the Coachella organizers like did it absolutely perfect because they knew by the time he brought it out, everyone would be tripping or on MDMA.
Yeah.
And he's a showman,
It would
man.
be
He was
like-
pointing at the crowd, and they were going nuts. Over it.
I know. I saw that part. I just gotta say, I hope young Mason, whatever the hell his name is ready for stardom. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
man.
that can really ruin some people, and I don't want it to go to his little head.
Hopefully he doesn't get Lindsay Lohan.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's got
Can we-
18,700,000 views on his. This I remember seeing this like a few days ago.
Yeah. And the first thing that I said to Shane was, I hope that he's cashing in on this because.
And I said he definitely is because, I mean, either I'm gonna go ahead and assume that he can't have that money because he's a minor, so his parents are getting it, and then hopefully there's a
good money manager.
Well, you said
there.
Lindsay Lohan. That's a good
right.
example of a family that screwed their kids
Or
on.
he could potentially cause his parents to get a divorce with all that money. They could
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
get
He turns
You know-
some
he's-
crank and
he's
booze and just
he's
end up getting a divorce.
He's Macaulay Culkin 2024. That's what's gonna happen.
he's gonna take
Well,
them and like
Macaulay-
trick them into hanging out together.
Macaulay
and-
Culkin.
Yeah. He's going
That's
to
the
try to
parent
trap
trap.
his parents.
Macaulay Culkin.
So this actually could ruin his life. This probably
It could.
will ruin his life.
It could.
Macaulay Culkin.
All right, there you go.
I just said Macaulay Culkin 4 times.
I like it.
He got his shit together though.
It is Culkin, right?
Culkin.
Something.
Macaulay
I don't know.
Culkin.
It's whatever you do to
How
your.
old is he?
It's whatever you do to your bathtub when it gets Culkin.
I just hope the yodeling kid hits the stage with like Migos or like Eminem.
Oh, it's
later
gonna
on.
happen.
But Macaulay Culkin got his shit together and looks like he's not on drugs anymore. And he's in a band, last time I checked, that was here in Indy called something about pizza, but they only sing songs about pizza.
That's interesting.
It's like
Fucking
pizza.
weird.
Can you look that up for me?
He's like the first.
Macaulay Culkin Pizza Band or something like that.
Like, I hope
That's
that-
actually good keywords. I think that'll work.
I
perfect.
hope someday. I hope someday him and Shia LaBeouf like start a band together.
And another thing I saw is
That's my favorite like GIF.
I love Shia LaBeouf. Okay,
I do too.
And he has this thing where I'm not sure what the actual. Go ahead.
The Pizza Underground.
Yeah, that's what I said. I think I said that.
Since 2013.
Yeah, can we
I actually got an email from a promoter for that, and I thought it was like a pizza and like.
can we play a little
pizza
clip from
festival.
Pizza Underground? I think
Oh,
they
yeah.
sing like specific songs, like Papa John's, like
Here.
whatever. And then also what I want to say is Shia LaBeouf is a fashion genius. Did you guys know that he dresses like it's called something specific, like the way he dresses, but he Yeezy went in and stole all of it, like not stole, but like he asked him if he could
Took
have a bunch of his
inspiration.
clothes. Yeah, and that's where he gets all his inspiration for the way he dresses.
That's cool.
So-
I didn't know that.
Wait,
Yeah.
who?
Yeezy.
Easy, yeah.
The Kanye.
Kanye
You're talking about
West.
Easy E?
Kanye.
No, Kanye West.
He's
Yeezy.
looking up pictures of Shia LaBeouf over here. I love it.
Can you
Rocking some
Easy,
pink leggings.
not easy,
don't know about
easy.
that.
I love having you over here doing this.
can you look up what the style is that Shia LaBeouf?
It's called hipster.
No, it's better than that.
It's grunge chic.
Also, I want to do a real quick plug, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you about this, but my buddy Mark is an artist,
I saw him posting about this.
and it's just kind of a big deal that he has a couple, I think 2 different skateboard graphics coming out.
What?
Yeah, and he's like a really good artist in this Dilemma Skateboards, which I think is based out of Indiana somewhere. I don't know too much about it. Didn't do my homework like I usually do.
That's all right.
And
That's what this
but I just
show
want to
is built
say,
on.
if you guys are skateboarders, I think it's coming out on the 20th.
Does he
and
do like longboards or are they like just
they're
short
just
decks?
regular, like you can get it in the regular skateboard decks, like 7.5 to 8
Right.
or whatever it is. But he's got 2 different graphics that are coming out. I think you can go to dilemmaskateboards.com probably. But definitely just Google Dilemma Skateboards and pick one up. I know if you were able to pre-order, I would already have one. But I
Right.
think they come out on the 20th, and I'll be snagging one. I just think it's cool that I know someone that has a skateboard graphic.
All right, Shane, let's start this over. Dilemma Skateboards is the best damn skateboards in all of Indiana.
Period.
And we are such big fans. The only thing that we're missing from the studio is
Oh, yeah. I
a
want one
Dilemma
above the
skateboard
window right
that
there.
should be here, and we would
Well, how about
Or
this?
right there.
promote it as much as possible.
Well, how about
because they
this?
are the-
I will buy it and then
Yeah.
I will hang it right there.
It should be comped it. Don't
yeah.
buy it, comp it.
No, you got. See what you. I mean, you may not realize this, but you gotta support your young artists. You know what I mean? Mark's
That's
out
true.
there slanging artwork, and he has people come to him on a daily basis. Like, hey man, can you draw me a sleeve?
Let's get him on the show.
You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, $200.
Yeah.
Get him on the
But
show.
you know, people don't realize that it costs money to get
Yeah.
artwork done for you, and that I'm not just going to do that. It takes a while to
Right.
do that.
Yeah.
So, and if he's like wanting to make it as an artist, you obviously want to get paid for it. So you
For
can't
sure.
just like, if I was a tire salesman, would I just give you one tire for free, or
Yeah, I love all the stuff I see that he posts on
Yeah, it's
Instagram
cool.
and on all the social media.
He's
stuff.
also been doing some.
It's Merker Mark.
Yeah.
Actually, from the live video, one of his, I think a couple of his stickers,
yeah,
are
right
on
there.
the-
Hashtag
on
Merker
the,
Mark
on
right
the
there.
Computer.
Yep, and he's been doing some I don't know what you want to call it, but what's like bondage type drawings where
Yeah.
girls are like wrapped up and getting gagged and stuff, which
Nice.
is very.
It's very artistic, and it's like it's not like it's offensive to see it. I don't think.
No, but my favorite thing about Mark is he just like he doesn't care.
Yeah,
you know what I
he's
mean?
just doing what he
That-
wants to do.
That's cool to me. But anyways, I just wanted to plug that real quick, and we
Yeah,
can get,
Mark.
For sure.
And we can get
I
back
do
to-
want to get him on the show sometime. I know that he's like not been sure about doing it, but I want
yeah.
to get him on here.
I think he just feels like a lot of other people feel same way I felt when I first started. Is like you think it's going to be different than it really is. Like,
Yeah.
you don't think that the conversation will flow, and you think you're going to be put on the spot and say something weird, which I've done many a times.
Yeah.
But
Speaking of that, Ryan. No, I'm just kidding.
It's just he's an artist too, man.
Yeah.
Artists are I don't want to use the word weird, but just different.
they're a different breed, and
Yeah.
but it's cool. Like it's so cool to me. Like all the shit he does is like super impressive to
Yeah.
me, and like I just want to. He supports us so much.
Yeah,
every
he
time
shares everything. He
likes
likes everything.
shares, will just text me and be like, "Man, I really like this. I really like that," and he supports us a lot. And I think it's just our right as a podcast or our due diligence that we should give him a shout out every once in a while.
And to just add to that is I just wanted to thank everybody that's joined
I
the
saw
Facebook
that
page.
Segue light bulb in your head go off. You were like, "Oh, now it's a chance for me to thank the
just
Facebook people."
everybody. Like, I mean, the podcast is growing. Like, I started an advertise cast webpage, so like if anybody's trying to advertise their business or anything, they can see like the rates that I've decided they're cheap, but rates that I decided to put out there so people could advertise. On top of that, everybody's sharing and listening to the podcast at a exponentially higher rate than they were just a month or two ago.
So give people kind of a gauge of where we've come from in terms of specifically when I started the show to now. No,
Well-
I'm just kidding. I just mean like in the lower, rating to what.
Except for last week, because I love the fact that you guys positioned this camera over here now, and it's not over here, pointed right at my back fat. Like I saw the video and I was like, "What the hell?"
Dude, honestly, I wanted to be like, that's not the most flattering view for
yeah.
you. So I would have been cool with moving it if you
Yeah.
wanted to. But back to like what the ratings.
Yeah,
saying,
and so basically the podcast before Shane was at a certain level. As soon as you joined, it probably jumped about 25%, and just within the last month, our total downloads per episode has jumped about 50%.
Yeah.
Each week,
Yeah.
which is like an extremely astronomical growth in a short amount of time. So everybody that's sharing it, everybody that's listening, I appreciate it. I just wanted to throw that out.
And like I said, I'm not. I really just kidding about since I joined the show. I just think it's cool that like somewhere in the middle there, like we are getting exponential. Like
yeah,
where
something's clicking and something's working.
I'm a big fan. I've been listening since because I found out about you doing a
Yeah.
podcast a long time ago,
Yeah.
and I heard your first co-host, and dude sounded like an alcoholic, which
He
came,
was.
which came in fruition because he was
Yeah.
an alcoholic. Which
Shout
was
out to
awesome.
Thomas, dude.
I love him, man. I hope
Dude,
you're doing okay.
I had some good times
Same
with
here.
that kid when I was in my 22, 23. We did some fun fucking
Yeah.
stuff together.
And then
I'm
I just hope he's okay.
I wish him the best. Yeah.
And then,
no.
it went to Hannah, and Hannah was great,
Yep.
but she was really flighty, man.
Right.
Like nothing against Hannah, like she was great, but she was just. Shane's just laughing over here.
No.
It was like a big. It was a big party. What the hell's going on? over here? What?
No, and,
Did I miss something? Like what
And
happened?
I appreciate
No,
every.
you didn't. It's nothing. Oh,
I was actually surprised. I was looking back, and I was surprised at how many episodes Hannah actually was on, because I with her kind of like her schedule, like not being able to be here, consistently, it felt like it wasn't as much. But then when I was looking at our catalog, I was like, man, she was actually on for quite a few.
Also, her comedic relief and her like fastness, like she was quick on the dime. Like like you would say something and she would be quick to like pull out a funny joke. I mean, that's one of the first thing I noticed when I listened to you guys back when the very first time.
Okay, so now how did you guys like get hooked up? Like, how did this all
We've
happen?
told this story a few times on the podcast, but basically, long story short, we just hung out with a lot of the same crowd. He went to Eastern, I went to Greenfield.
Okay, so this is like a high school thing that just evolved.
Kind of, but we all hung out. Like I never called him like, hey, let's hang out. But I always hung out with people that he hung out with, and I would see him like on a regular basis or whatever. And then I felt like I knew him enough to where I could shoot him a message and just say, hey, like I enjoy your podcast, and let me know if I can just do anything to help. And then I came on one time and haven't left.
Yeah, and I
live here now.
Well, I'm working on the spare room for you.
You live in the crate with the dogs.
Yeah, I'm trying to become the most homeless looking I can.
And what's interesting is also I met Ryan actually through Hannah at Ball State. Like,
oh, nice.
We
used to date, me and Hannah.
Did you?
I was just joking around.
No joke. That was the thing, and that I didn't.
Okay.
That was what we were.
I'm glad it is out in the open now.
It wasn't my place to say that, but now that he said it, that's why we were.
We're not on bad terms, so it's not awkward.
Yeah.
I was just.
That's so weird to me. Like I do not have a ex that I still talk to, minus my ex-wife because I have a kid. But like, as far as like, I cannot be in good graces with exes. Like it does not work out.
I think that's with most people, honestly.
One of the best things though was when we first met. Like we just like instantly were like buddies, kind of like with Shane, like where we hung out around each other, but like we never kind of like got a hold of each other. Like, hey, we're going out. I want you to go.
I didn't know that I met you on Halloween night.
Yeah.
Because one, I was drunk, and two, we met in Broad Ripple.
No, when
you guys made out
on Halloween. Yeah, we made out.
You met up with us for a brief amount of time.
Was there tongue involved?
Average Joe's.
Always.
Yep, Average Joe's.
But you were like,
cool.
but you were. I think you were drunk too. I don't know, but you were just like. I remember this now that
I was very drunk.
Yeah, he brought it up, but you were like, "Great addition to the show, great addition to the show." I feel like you didn't know what else to say, and I was like, and I was drunk too, so I was like, "Thanks, man, thanks."
What sucks as I get older, like I'm starting to come to the realization, like I don't get blackout drunk as much as I used to.
Anytime I
haven't been blacked out in a long time,
and it's one of those things where it's like I have to plan for it.
Yeah.
So I say maybe we take this podcast on like one of those. Bar crawls.
It is not
booze cruises.
It is not good for anyone for me to get blackout drunk, especially myself.
It's
but
really not.
It directly affects everyone around me.
Are you a violent person? Or
I can be.
And
I'm like fucking the most.
And then we also lose them.
I'm like I can be 1 minute. Because I talk.
That's what we should do. We should arm ourselves with all portable mics.
No, we should all like. We should all just like.
It'll be just cutscenes to different.
But like, yeah, I'll be over here like, hey, you're like, I'm just so nice to people. Like,
Shane becomes the best, like the biggest fan of you when he's really drunk.
Yes, I'm like, dude, like someone could tell me something, and I'll get like their number, and they'll be like, dude, I'm like doing this. I'm like, that's the coolest fucking thing I've ever heard. And then they text me the next day, and I'm like, don't text me. I don't give a shit about what you're saying.
Oh, that's
no, I don't say that to him. I'm just, I don't say that to him.
He just was thinking that.
You ice him? You don't?
No, I say no. It depends on the weird. If I remember if I don't even remember the conversation, I'm just like, oh,
if I'm super hungover, I'm not even fucking texting back.
I just say in my head, classic
Shane. I get super antisocial when I'm really hungover, like to the point where
I think everybody does.
I'm just like, I don't even want to be around people.
Yeah. My roommates would be like, let's go get breakfast. I'm like, fuck off. Upstairs.
I absolutely hate those people. The people who like want to go and be
Can I get
a
one?
part of society. Yeah, go ahead. A part of society.
No, the thing is you get really blackout drunk, then you sleep till 5 p.m. and then you go get breakfast. That's cool with that, but I'm not like wake up at 10 o'clock, get breakfast.
I wish I was like that. I'm
yeah.
jealous that they have that energy.
Go down to Denny's, get you a moons over my
hammy.
hammy.
I want to go downtown.
I honestly, I think we should do that. I think we should do like a bar crawl.
Oh yeah,
and we should get like one of the buses where
we actually talked about doing that with the Smugcast one time, but AP's so serious about the sound that he did.
And they're a little judgy when we get drunk. I don't feel like I can be drunk around them. They're
but anyways, like what was I? Say something.
I make fun of everybody, and then I become their best friends. I'm like a mean girl when I become drunk.
Yeah.
which is amazing.
See, my thing is like you say you make fun of people, but I think I'm similar. I just am brutally honest all the time, and even more so when I'm drunk. So I just say things that can be misconstrued as me being mean, but I'm really just being really honest with you.
And see, I would back up. I would back you up, and I would be.
And then they get mad. I'm like, but am I wrong? Is like what I'm saying false? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, well, what are we fighting about then?
Shane, I think we just became drunk best friends.
Drunk best friends.
And you guys aren't even drunk yet.
Dude, I'm drunk best friends with everyone. I've never met a person I didn't like when I was drunk.
But yeah, the meeting each other and like going out and stuff is like one of my favorite things. It's something that I've actually talked with some of my other guy friends besides Shane. Is like I miss the fact that we just don't go out anymore, where we're like we don't have a plan. We're just gonna go get drunk and have a good time.
Right.
Yeah. And I just miss that. I bet you still get that every now and then, don't you?
Every now and then, but I'm in that.
Are you
point
starting to
now
make
where
plans?
It's just
But
just special occasions.
But here's the thing: when it's not planned, it tends to be a little too hectic and a little too
Yeah, but
crazy.
the
And
thing
people
about-
get too drama. But when it's planned, it's like everybody knows where they need to be at a certain time.
I agree.
And it's way more It's like an organized drunk.
I'm gonna say what happens is from the age of 20 to 28, when you get to that higher, or even 30 or whatever, you have more responsibility, and as you have more responsibility, it becomes harder to plan something. So you almost have to. When you're married and have a kid or whatever, it becomes hard to plan anything.
Yeah.
So you really have to plan, or it's just not gonna work, and people are gonna bail, and it's just
But we should do it. We should do this, and then we could have fans come and join us on the bus.
I wanted to do that.
I think it'd be cool to just say, "Hey, we're gonna be
here.
We're gonna be at this bar on this day with our little recorder thing," and not tell the bar because it's just one little tiny recorder thing.
Now you gotta get permission from the bar.
Just to chill.
Nah.
Because then it becomes also fun too with the bar because it's self promotion for them. Honestly,
Yeah.
you're gonna get more people in.
I mean,
And-
it wouldn't be hard for us to do that either.
And the cool thing about like especially a lot of the craft breweries, the brewers and even the bartenders they're just awesome to talk to.
Yeah.
They've got some amazing
And
stories.
they usually like podcasts.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
And then they could share our podcast.
Exactly.
To all their fans.
All right, let's get a little bit back on track here.
Yeah, and the last thing I wanted to say about the waking up thing, I'm the guy that wakes up still drunk and wants to go to like brunch and keep just drinking because I'm always just like trying to prevent that bad feeling. So
I can't do that.
So
I just
I woke
keep
up feeling I'm like the oldest person ever now because I can have 4 beers and wake up and feel like complete shit.
that me too.
I don't understand. I think I know I've been just drinking like Coors Light and stuff because that heavy, whatever, like
IPA or-
that kind of stuff just doesn't like do well on the body anymore. I'm not trying to say I'm super old, but so today when I woke up, that's what I'm excited about after this because I actually want to go get rid of this little feeling I have by having a couple drinks or whatever.
And I but go ahead. Yeah, sorry. I apologize. That was the last thing I wanted to say about that. Is that I like to wake up and have brunch. I'm a fan.
Good to know.
If I'm on a bender and I'm just drinking
A bender. If I haven't been home and if I've been couch surfing for 6 months and haven't been home and fell asleep on the street a couple nights, my
life's falling apart.
Have you guys? Are you Batman just now? Where is he?
I love that.
Where is he? Where's the Bud Light? Can I do my Bane?
Yes.
What's something that Bane says? I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Anything that Bane says is hilarious. You don't have to word for word him.
I was born in the dark. I was not simply molded by the light. I was born in the dark.
Is that pretty good or no? My Batman was better. Just where is he? All right.
I was so scared. I was so scared. I was so scared when I first heard the new Batman voice. I was like, "What the hell?"
He was like, "Hello, I'm Batman."
That definitely wasn't it.
He's got a little robot. He's synthesized. He sounds like Akon.
Talking about cheerleaders.
Or
and
sorry,
everything else.
T-Pain. More T-Pain. Yeah, he was the synthesized master.
The other
Let me
thing,
buy you a drink.
the other thing that's
Can I
kind
get
of
you a drink?
irritating about those DC films is like Clark Kent and Superman. Like all he does is put glasses on and change his hairstyle a little bit, and that's literally.
I'm gonna be honest with you. There's something I like about that.
I don't like DC. I just don't like the. I don't.
Amen.
I'm not
Dude,
a fan.
fuck you guys.
Not a
dude.
fan.
No, I grew up reading DC. Like I thought DC was great comic book wise. I think they got a great
Yeah.
story, but when it transitions into movies, not the greatest.
I agree.
Wonder Woman was great. I thought Wonder Woman was good.
Yeah.
Still a little out there. Not as. I mean, I get the whole point of, hey, you know what? It's the women's time. Let's have a woman superhero.
Yeah.
But Batman versus Superman, terrible movie.
Dude, that song that they play when Wonder Woman's kicking out, like,
I do like that. I do like that. I'm a big fan.
Dude.
The composer was awesome.
And
Gal
Gal,
Gadot is
Extremely,
goddess. Oh my
extremely
God.
beautiful woman.
another person
that was my
who made
favorite part of watching that movie. I was just mesmerized the whole time.
another person who made the fappening list.
Really?
No way. No way.
No
She's
shit.
on the list. Her pictures haven't been put out yet. She's
How
on
do
the
you
list.
spell her name?
I need to save this.
No, but I do agree with what you're saying. I thought you were going somewhere else with that, but DC to me is better storyline wise and comic book wise. But then when it
Right.
comes to the movies right now,
Their movies are.
it's almost
terrible.
stupid for anyone to say that they like the DC better because they're just not. I mean, I can't wait for Infinity War. And
I've got my tickets already.
that's what I
Do
heard.
you?
Yeah.
Man,
And
I gotta get mine.
I was at home like 2 days ago, and I go, babe, you know, like you do, like you do at home. Hey, meatloaf, fuck. No, I didn't say that. I said, you want to go see Infinity War? She's like, yeah. And then, so I'm going too, but I don't have tickets.
And my wife is just as much into those movies as I am.
So do you do the movies twice?
My girlfriend's not, and she hates when we go to see those movies.
Do you do the movies twice? Like I generally do them twice with the kid. Like I'll go watch them in 3D. That way I get the full 3D effect, and then I'll go and watch them 2D.
When I was single, dude, I went to, I'm going to say, like, every premiere of any comic book.
Yeah.
Like, it was like because they do it like Friday night at
Thursday
12.
night, too.
Thursday night at 12. That's when I would go, and I had to work Friday.
Yeah.
I didn't give a shit. I went
Yeah.
and saw, like,
That's the best move I've seen.
I went and saw,
I
like,
thought that was going somewhere else. I'm like, why is he crawling under the tables? My pants are zipped.
I went and saw, like, Avengers.
Oh, yeah.
Any movie I can think of that. But as soon as I had a kid, it was like,
I saw.
can't do that shit.
Yeah, the best time to go when you have kids, and especially with what you do for work.
Don't say you just leave them by themselves.
I was gonna say like 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Tuesday.
I've
Cheaper tickets,
I've
too.
talked about this this thing that I do, and me and my girlfriend will like all almost like get in a fight, and then kind of instigate the fight,
Yeah.
and then be like, I'm out of here, and then I'll just go see a movie by myself.
Yeah, me and my sports guy.
That's hilarious.
I mean,
I hope that Nicole doesn't listen and then catch on to your
I think
tricks.
I mean, she's got to know every time
She's
like,
with him every day. She knows all his tricks.
we come back, I come back, and we like, oh, I love you, make up, blah blah. She's like, did you go see a movie? I'm like, yeah.
You ever get that talk from the significant other, and they like totally just describe you to a T, and you're like, "Fuck, I am like that. Why do they know me?"
That's
so
what
well?
when we get in an argument, I'm like, I know you. I know what you're doing right now. Like, don't act like I'm retarded. And I don't. Sorry, I didn't mean to use the R word.
Way to go, dude.
Whatever.
Jeez.
But
Doesn't
I'm,
bother me.
Yeah, but I'm not. I just listened to Joe Rogan and Tom Segura talking about he got a bunch of flack for. He had a bit where it's got like people weren't even listening to the bit; they were just judging him based off of he used the R word or whatever. So that's why I said that. But anyways,
Hey, guess what? It's your podcast. You can say whatever the fuck you want.
that's true.
Right.
This is a free zone. But anyways, what I was, I would just like I forget what was I saying.
you were
Talking
talking
about arguing.
Oh, I was
with
just like,
Nicole.
I know you. Like, I know what you do. I know your tactics, and she knows my tactics. And I don't like when we act like we don't know what what we're doing here. Like, I'm like,
What's hilarious is Jen and I don't argue about almost anything. We're pretty much on the same page.
Are you guys
on-
passive aggressive?
on
Yeah, that's-
everything. Jen's passive aggressive.
I'm passive-aggressive.
I'm bad because I do a lot of stuff and just don't tell her. So like that, because to me, I would rather just avoid that argument or avoid that conversation. She found out about the MacBook Air.
Yeah.
She found out about that on my way to the doing the other podcast, the Married with Children podcast with Dustin Roller. I was driving there and I get a text message that said, "So you bought a MacBook Air, huh?" And I was like,
ooh, boy.
I was like, God. I was
Oh,
like, God.
boy.
And but the funniest
wait,
part
how-
about it is it's been sitting on this table and I've been working on it and she's come in the door and I've been working on it thinking, oh, we're gonna have the fight now.
That's crazy because
never
Nicole
noticed.
would be like, "What is that?" Immediately.
How do you handle that situation? Because I know how I handle it. Like if my lady friend called in, was like, or called me and was like, "Oh my god, I saw you bought a new computer," I would have texted back and be like, fuck yeah, it's awesome.
Well, instantly, I said, well, I thought you already had seen it, and she was like, well, you hid it from me, and I was like, nope, it's been sitting on this desk. You've come in and talked to me while I've been working on it. I didn't tell you specifically, but I knew. Like the thing is back to what you were saying about knowing each other. She knows that about me.
Yeah.
Like she's like, you hid that, and I'm like, I didn't hide it, but. And she's
You can't find something when it's in plain sight.
exactly.
I hid it in plain
But
sight.
she is correct because
Diabolical.
Because I'm the kind of person that like if anything happens, I want to share it with everybody. Like I want to like show you like, hey, look at this. Like and like when you guys got here, I want to just show you the porch that we just like started building. I
You
was
didn't
like,
show me the porch.
well, you were a little bit later than these guys, even though
I love that.
I'm not blaming you.
I love that his like thinking was like, well, Shane's gonna be late, so I'll be late with him.
Yeah,
Instead of like, I'll show up on time and wait for Shane to get there. I'll be late.
I
since
told him
Shane's
to
gonna be
take
late.
his time.
He sent me a text. He said that you were going to be late, and I was like, I was smack dab in the middle of Call of Duty, and I was kicking some Italian.
Aren't those like games like 3 minutes long or something?
I don't know. So I was playing some Italian.
Play 10 more games.
He might have been playing the career mode.
All right, I'm gonna play
or whatever.
20 more, 20 more matches, and then I'll go.
That's exactly what happened. It was like some Italian kid, and he was like cursing me in Italian, or at least I'd like to think it's.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Dude,
he was cursing.
like,
at
were
me.
you like? You probably thought he was trying to tell you how much he loves you.
Were you a little turned on?
Oh, that's
it's-
French. I'm sorry.
It's like the
French,
same.
like French lose all. They lose. I'm in history class. They're losing. They lose everything. They lost like every war ever. Like they were gonna be a part of like the Cold War or something like that, and then they just got like immediately. No, it was World War II. Hitler just came in there and just beat their ass and was like they weren't even part of it.
They're like, okay,
And
we'll bow out.
let's talk about the Louisiana Purchase. How dumb was that? Why would you sell off?
Yeah.
It could have been New France.
That's true.
But anyway,
Then we had to
Sorry,
be neighbors.
I'm
to
bad,
France.
dude. I'm bad about just like
oh no, it's
planting
cool.
little seeds.
So anyway, I totally forgot where I'm going with this.
Lateness in games
yeah,
and
so
matches
I was
and-
late, and I started thinking about, man, you know, I like beating little kids, and this is the exact same reason.
You might
why
want to specify.
I too like beating young children.
Why I
it's
love
fun.
We should
going.
just have a clip that it says, "I like beating young kids. I like beating young kids."
It's the same reason why I love going to play like laser tag.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I love
outsmart
shooting
'em.
kids. If I can make a kid cry at laser tag,
Oh, yeah.
I've won.
See, the thing about me is when I play any game with kids, whether it be like basketball or I just completely dominate them purposely.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not
They
gonna
gotta
get-
learn. They gotta
Yeah.
learn that life is not gonna be easy.
Yeah, and I think even when you've like gone to like say you went on a date and you were playing pool, I just fucking smashed them in pool and be like you know, I'm not gonna let you win. Like, oh, you're letting me win. Like, no, I'm just gonna completely obliterate you in
Yeah.
pool and then be like, oh, it better get better.
Yep. That's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
Talking about that stuff though, the France and all that. How do you feel about World War III potentially happening?
Is this? I think is it for sure? Like people are saying this, or you're just kind of?
I mean, there's
I'm
news.
out of
There's
the loop.
news stories. There's for example. Okay, not for example.
Do you know how many times World War III is almost happened?
So
World War III nowadays is going to be drone versus drone,
Yeah.
robot versus robot.
So we bombed.
they gotta have
We bombed
robots. Syria doesn't have any robots.
We bombed Syria for bombing their own people with chemical weapons
Is Syria,
to kind of send a message.
Is Syria the one that we talked about? How they just bought the smart computer from Japan, or what was that? Remember that girl the computer that could talk and stuff?
No, that was Turkey.
Okay,
But anyways,
They're on our side.
because I was gonna think how funny it would be if because I just said Syria doesn't have any robots to fight us with, but
Yeah, and
how
then
funny if it was like their one robot. Please stop. I don't know.
what would happen is they would
I
bust out.
just started learning to love.
What
Gets
is
destroyed.
what is love?
What's going to happen is they're going to bust out with. One of these countries is going to pull out is going to go to Germany and steal all those sex robots and just like line them up, and then all of a sudden war is over because everyone's having sex with the robots. And
I just
like,
picture
explode.
all the German sex robots going, yeah,
Ja,
yeah.
ja.
Das ist good.
Guten Tag.
Why would you say good day just while you're having sex?
That's like the only German I know, dude.
You can say, das ist wunderbar. Wunderbar.
Wunderbar.
man, you have a pretty good German accent.
Thank you. I practice every day.
It's thank you.
You gotta sound very excited. Like, oh, hello, Papa. Like that. From
It's because he does World War II cosplay.
Yes, he did.
my grandfather
The Nazi.
was
That's
He
the
was a
first thought I
Nazi.
had.
okay. Well, You think that's funny? That's exactly what I was going to say. My grandfather was an SS Nazi for the German. Yeah.
Damn.
So my grandmother's dad was a straight
Man,
SS
explains,
Nazi.
What's your last
explains
name?
A lot.
Wunderbar. No, I'm just kidding. It's Jones, but I get that from my dad. It's from my mom's side.
What was her maiden name?
I don't know. Her name is Doris, and I don't know. Honestly.
Don't know the maiden name, huh?
No,
So, do you know the location of secret Nazi treasure?
Goebbels?
No,
Was it Goebbels?
she was born.
If we knew that, we would have already gone.
She grew up in I think it's Hammelburg, and it's close to the Black Forest.
It's actually,
Hammerberg.
it's actually where Mark Hamill came from.
But you know all those like childhood stories, like all the Hansel and Gretel and all that. They
Yeah.
come from the Black Forest or whatever. That's where Black Forest cake comes
Yeah.
from. But she was born over in that area,
Nice.
in a small town.
And true story, she's a big fan of David Hasselberg.
David Hasselhoff. Who's the fuck is-
Hasselberg.
Germany is
Too many bergs.
Germany is big
Do you
fans,
like the
big
Baywatch?
fans of David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, they love that guy.
You know what's weird? You look like Daniel Bruhl, the guy from Inglorious
Inglorious Bastards.
Bastards, the
Bear Jew?
Nazi dude that's trying to bang the
bear
the
No.
Jew that runs the movie theater, and
The Nazi guy.
But you mean
you look a lot.
you mean
like this guy.
the guy from he's in Infinity War too. He's Zoom or what's the guy's name? In the comic book, he's like purple and has a sword. But he's the one in the Civil War where they.
No, trying to think.
Kind of. I mean, give
Type in-
that guy a beard.
Hey, type in Thomas Rhett.
The country singer.
I get it once a week at work.
Nice.
Thomas Rhett.
But what's happening with
Put your
that,
hat on backwards like that. You look like Thomas Rhett.
with the Syria?
All white people look alike to me.
Sorry.
What's happening with that?
You racist
with that
bastard.
Syria thing is the fact that we bombed them for bombing themselves with chemical warfare weapons, and we're kind of trying to send a message like, stop bombing your own people with these things. But we bombed them to like send that message.
Yeah, it was just a retaliation.
What I think is interesting is the news story from Russia is all but 13 of the bombs were shot out of the air by Syria's missile defense, but from the actual reports from Syria and from the United States is 78 out of like 103 actually did hit their target. So like,
which
it's
one's
like
right?
it's like wildly one way, but I
I
think
kind of want to believe theirs because
but Syria even said that things were destroyed. So it's Russia trying to I think do propaganda for
shit.
their own their stuff. And what I think is funny is somebody showed the starting lineup, like a funny meme of this going on, and it was United States and all the people that agree with us for doing this, and then it said the opposition, which is Russia, Syria, China, and Iran. So it's 15 countries against 4. So I'm not worried about it. It's just something that
so the 15 is against us.
no 15 for us.
lineup.
So
The lineup is Russia, Syria, Iran, China,
yeah.
North Korea.
But
we have.
dude, China and Russia.
Our
but they're-
coalition.
those are some big dudes.
I know, yeah, it's with them all together. That's
And we
that's
also-
that's a lot of manpower, a lot
Right.
of technology, a lot
We
of
also
money.
owe China billions of dollars.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
I think if there's a World War III, I don't think it would necessarily be fought. I think it would be more like an economic war,
Right.
Than
It would be.
anything else.
That's
It's gonna
kind of
be-
what
it's gonna be
the
like
Cold
the-
War was for a while, right?
Essentially,
I mean,
yeah.
it wasn't actually a lot of war going on during the Cold War. I mean, there was Russian, whatever shooting at us
Right.
every once in a while, but most of the Cold War had nothing to do with actual
Yeah.
war, I don't think.
And like I said, it's just something to talk about, just because I think it's interesting how in the time that we live in right now, are we going to get accurate information about this? Because that's what we were just talking about. Russia's putting out their propaganda of every missile was shot down because they have such good missile defense. And then
Well, you got to think too. Back in the day, Russia was trying to spread the word of communism, and they would do that by even to Americans. They would talk to black folk and tell them that why would you go fight for a country that won't even
give you rights.
You're still being segregated within the
Right.
military, and that it's segregation within the military, and you're fighting for this country that's treating you like shit.
Right.
And the Russians were over there telling them that, and that's their form of trying to get them to think a more communist way of thinking.
Well, and what I think is also crazy about the time is everybody is
There's just too much information.
People as a mass are going to share this stuff and share these news stories that are like trying to spin things one way, and they're just like they're dumb. They're dumb people. Like they're like, oh, I'm scared that we're going to get nuked tomorrow.
I just think there are different levels to it.
There's so much information coming from
Right.
and there's like obvious information that doesn't really make any sense that everyone's kind of just like, getting through that shit. But then up higher, there's information that's like you don't know what to believe because it's coming from all these different.
The information to believe is the information coming from the people who are lining their pockets.
Right.
Because, I mean, that's what it all comes down to. It comes down to how can we make more money off of this.
Yeah, but those people that are lining their pockets aren't giving you the straightforward answer.
Well, they're not going to, because then it would take money out of their pockets.
So I don't know where
it's like the whole reason why we invaded Iraq back in 2003. I mean, really, WMDs? No, there's oil over there.
Trying to get that figured out. But no, I'm just interested to see how it plays out. I'm not scared. I think we're good.
Do we want to do some Judgment Day?
I have a quick one, but yes, I would like to do
Judgment Day.
It's time for Judgment Day. This is the part of the podcast where Juice and Shane judge the notorious idiots that surround us all. It's important to note that one of the guys doing the judging once shot himself in the dick. For real? It's the Juice in the Morning with Shane podcast.
Who do we have today, guys? Listen now.
Thank you for that awesome intro.
Listen now.
So the Judgment Day that I have today is I was at the gym with my lady the other day, and we were doing some exercising, and we were I had my headphones in, she had her headphones in, but we were like kind of working out next to each other. But we start, like, I heard this interesting noise that I couldn't really pinpoint what it was, so I took one earbud out. There was a guy doing hip thrusts, just like kind of catty cornered to us. So I don't know if the people listening or you guys here know what the hip thrusts are, but it's where you put the bar across your waist, and you kind of just like lift up with your waist, so it looks like you're kind of fucking the air, and you have the bar across your waist.
Exactly what it looks like.
And it's to build the glutes. I understand what it's for, but the funniest part about it was every time he would go up, he would go, yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Or,
he did not say yeah.
I swear to God.
Oh my God.
Jen and I.
Were there other?
Was he looking at Jen while he was doing it?
Were there
No,
any
it's
other?
not weird. I would almost think it was less weird if he was doing that. Like,
Were
if he
there
was
any
actually
other
doing it.
females like around the vicinity at the time?
There was a few just like kind of across the way, because we went into the there was like a dance studio, because we were doing some like these like jump things, like jump squats or something like that. So we wanted like the grip of the wooden floor or whatever. He was in there, we were in there. There was a girl to the left of us and another girl across from us, and then another guy over in the corner doing his like lunges or whatever. And the guy actually left the room. I think he was laughing, and I was laughing, and I was like,
So was he just doing it to be funny?
no, because
You said the guy left the room laughing though.
No,
another guy.
the guy in the corner
Okay,
left because I think he was having a hard time keeping it together while that guy was making that noise. But I had to sit there and listen, and it was, yeah.
See, I think I would have been like, I think I really would have just been like, what are you doing?
Well, he had his earbuds in too, so we.
So he couldn't hear himself.
I don't think
that's
he could.
what it was.
I don't
That's
think
what. So
he
he
could.
was like, in his head, he's like, yeah.
You would
But he
have
was saying it out loud.
You would have asked him what he was doing. I would have went to him and been like, "Yo, show me that move."
I wouldn't even said like, what are you doing? I just would have walked up to him and went like, put my hands up like.
Yeah, he was thoroughly enjoying himself, and
Or you could start doing moves where you're making those noises even louder, and then it could be like a battle.
Yeah.
and Jen and I just started laughing. We finished our last set and got out of there, but it was very entertaining.
Nice.
And basically, I just want to judge him and anybody else that makes awkward noises while you're lifting, because I can understand a little bit of noise here and there. I've eked out a like or something like that before. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But I just kind of let
Did
it.
a squat, released a little gas.
Yeah. And it happens. But don't be. It literally sounded like he was mimicking having sex.
Maybe he's just.
So
It's like something you would see on Barstool Sports, which you should have videotaped so you can.
Then I would have like blown up viral.
Because that's a lot of what they post is like people at the gym doing weird like workouts and stuff. So that'd have been good.
God damn it!
Gosh darn it! All right, who's next? Who wants to go?
I'll go. All right, I've actually got 2 judgments. One judgment is going.
You get one.
To what is going to Juice for taking his lady to work out with? That's weird.
That's not weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
We both need to work out. We both need to
Work
be
out
in
with your
shape.
ladies. I can't do it.
Oh, I would, but mine doesn't want to work
Well,
out
see,
with me.
like I think the issue is like
I don't want to do
if
what
I was,
you want to do, and you're too controlling. I'm like, I'm-
right, exactly. No, that's not how you do it.
well, she wants to do just like typical girl workouts where it's like we gotta do 7,000 squats,
or she
instead
does
of like,
or she does something better than you.
That's not gonna happen.
she's not stronger than me, but she's fast, dude, and she's a good runner. So I will say that she's probably.
He's like, I can
She's
totally
got some
kick
good
her
wheels.
ass.
Got some good wheels on her.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
No, but my real judgment is I went to this play over the weekend. I went to go see The Lion King, and it was at my kid's middle school. For whatever reason, he wanted to go. He wasn't in a play or anything, but he like got all decked out, and
Maybe there was like a shouty.
I really think there was. And
She was a tree.
Yeah, she could have been like a gigantic elephant. But throughout the
Oh God.
throughout the whole thing, I'm like sitting there and I'm thinking, man, I'm listening to the dialogue of Scar, and I'm just like, you know, Scar's actually a really good dude. Like, I could see where he went and took this wrong turn and became evil. Why is everyone got to hate on Scar? He doesn't have any friends. The only friends he has are these hyenas who are apparently on meth.
Oh yeah, and his parents named him fucking Scar.
Right, exactly. I mean, honestly, he's the only one.
What did you expect?
He's the only one who's not performing incest in that whole situation.
So you're really judging Rob Minkoff and Roger Allers. Those are the directors.
Nice.
Of The Lion King.
Yeah, and I'm
Of the
judging
original.
everybody else. Why's he have to die?
Damn you, Minkoff.
Damn Minkoff!
But yeah, that's a very poignant.
That sounds like
Judgment
something
Day.
that someone would say, like if you were like really against fur and you
Right.
went up to somebody like Minkoff.
Right. Well, it's like I don't know.
that was. I thought that was
Like
really
if it was
funny.
like someone that wasn't very smart, caveman like, but he just had this really weird vendetta against like people wearing fur. And he just go Minkoff.
Right. It's just making fun of somebody who's different. Everybody's hating
Scar,
on him.
dude.
Yeah,
He
everybody's
looks-
hating
he looks
on him
pretty rad
because
ass,
he's
if you ask
different.
me.
yeah.
Red ass.
Rad ass. I'm totally a bro. What's up,
Rad
dudes?
ass.
Come on, let's go. Hey. Anyways, take it away.
I didn't really.
The
Okay, so on the way, where am I?
Dude, what just happened? Like, it just
Red
got
ass, dude.
I think he really doesn't like that word.
No.
This little bro here.
No, I've just never heard it before.
That's gonna be. That's
so
actually,
you're like, so
I
you're
love it.
a little mind blown right now.
right. That's gonna be added to my vocabulary.
Yeah.
Red ass.
It sounds like you're saying
Oh,
red
shit.
ass, but okay.
I'm brown. I could actually get away with that.
Yeah.
On the way here, do you know those? It's like a 3-wheel motorcycle.
Yeah,
There's
it's called a
nothing-
tricycle.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
the trike.
tricycle.
The trike.
Is that what?
A trike. Yeah.
Is it called a trike?
It's
Yeah.
called a trike. Yeah.
Just like a
I swear
Are
to
you fucking
God.
with me?
no,
I swear
yeah.
to
Like the
God.
motorized.
Yeah. What's trike stand for?
tricycle.
Well, when I think trike, I'm thinking like bicycle with fucking.
I think
3 wheels.
I'm gonna
Like
Motorized
this
trike.
thing's motorized trike.
I got
But
you.
anyways,
It's like
know
a
what I'm talking
motorcycle.
about. So nothing closing this guy
Motorbike.
off from the elements.
Mm-hmm.
And on the way here, I mean, it's raining and it's 45 degrees outside. But you know how people get in the springtime?
Oh yeah.
You were itching
Dude,
to ride your bike.
have you
So
never
this
heard
guy
the-
was like, I'm taking it out Sunday. I'm doing it. I don't care. His ass was on 65, fucking raincoat and a big ass helmet,
Dude,
and like holding
have
the
you
wheel. I'm
never-
like, dude, this guy hates his
Have
life
you
right now.
never heard the term "live to ride, ride to live"?
No, I do understand. Justin has that tattoo on his
Tramp stamp.
It is. I was just about to say that. You
That's
fucker.
this
you stole
guy.
it.
We are the same person.
This guy rode to live though because he's gonna die from his ride. He's gonna
Was
get
he a big guy?
hypothermia. I don't know. He had a huge helmet on. I couldn't tell.
Okay, because
You
it's
know?
always the big guys that get the trikes for whatever reason. I don't know why that
I
is.
think he was
it's-
probably old.
More
easy.
weight to
It's
try
It's
to
like
balance.
it's a balance issue.
Yeah,
I
It's
think.
easier.
But I mean, goddamn, no nothing. No
I will.
windshield.
I will not ride in the rain. I'm too
45
much of a
degrees,
pussy.
rainy, and like you're fucking. He's going 80 miles an hour on.
Like in my mind, like it's,
65.
that's where I would just be like, that guy's a badass.
He was just running away from his wife, bro.
Yeah.
He's like, she took the car.
Don't we?
So I don't want to fucking deal with it. She won't let me watch the Pacer
Are we
game.
all running away?
She took all
from
my
it?
shit, but I got my truck.
Don't know how much longer I can deal with this bitch.
Told her to get me a Miller Lite, and she said, "Fuck you, Larry." I don't know.
It's definitely Larry too. I like that.
God damn it, Larry.
Shane, who are you judging?
Mine's not gonna be very significant. I don't want to take your
You're not going to take this one?
no.
Okay.
But I appreciate the offer.
I was just trying to help you out, man.
I appreciate
I would
that.
have used it.
I like to just try to.
I didn't see it.
Here. We can talk about it actually later.
If I don't ever have one,
Okay.
if I don't ever have one, I just like to get it from what everyone's talking about. So I'm gonna go with the gym. And something that I want to judge people for is basically gym owners and or like corporations like LA Fitness, and you know that Kegel machine, like the thing that girls get on, and they it's not called the Kegel machine for sure,
I'm like
Your hip flexors?
I'm trying to figure out what
but it's like
The
where-
hip flexor machine?
Yeah, where the girls.
Yeah.
If you own a gym and those are not facing the wall, you're making this awkward for everyone.
Yeah.
Because if they're facing out, you're like, I'm on a treadmill making eye contact with someone that's like doing this, and like, and girls wear like some
what's
things,
crazy?
and it's kind of like, that's a whole direction I can't even look in now, because if I look at her while she's doing that, I'm a creep immediately.
Reason
You tell-
number one why you can't bring your girlfriend to the gym.
Right, exactly. You tell yourself you can't look, but you always look, dude. If I see something that's nice on a treadmill, I'll sneak a peek.
You know, it's crazy though.
Sometimes
is
I'm
at
too
my,
obvious.
At
I
my
can't
gym,
stop
looking.
those hip flexor machines face the racquetball courts. No wonder so many fucking guys play racquetball.
He's just like, he's just swinging a racket around. I don't know how to fucking play this game, bud.
It's just a front so they can look at people.
Another reason
look
I don't-
at people doing the Kegel machine.
Back to the girlfriend and
We should do the Juice Olympics.
bringing your
Kegel machine event one.
bringing your girlfriend to the gym. Another reason I don't do it is that I'm gonna toot my own. I'm pretty proud of this. My girlfriend has a giant, nice butt.
Yeah.
A really, really nice bottom. And dudes, like, even when we go out in
They can't
public,
help themselves.
go to the grocery store, I'm just like, fuck you looking at, dude? Like,
Stop!
Yeah. could you stop?
See, that's the difference. Like,
I do need to be, but I understand. I need to just be like, dude, like, I need to like be glad that she has it and be like, yeah, that's what I got, bro.
Right.
But I get it. I see both parts, but there's something that just crawls
Shane
up the
can't
back,
do that.
I
crawls
get-
up my spine when they're looking, and I'm just like, I'll fucking kill
See,
you. bro.
I love it mainly because I'm a fat guy, and I love it whenever you see a fat guy with a super hot chick, you're just like, how the hell did the fat guy get the? I am that fat guy.
I bet they're just like, he's probably really funny.
Right. he's
like that.
loaded.
It's not his sense of humor, that's for sure.
I love the fact that people are like, oh, he's loaded. That's why he got her. Then I make her pay for shit.
Like, oh, you must have that meat hammer.
That's
meat
immediately
hammer.
where I go to second. Second after the money. It's
the
either
money.
it goes money and then he's probably packing.
I
a
think
giant
there's
dong,
something to be said
and
about
then-
being funny. I'm serious. Like,
yeah.
I think the girls, the ones that aren't completely into looks, care about.
Well, I told you guys what I used to do when I
looks
was
fade,
when I
dude.
was in college, right?
Dude, show me a guy that has a hot wife. I'll show you a guy that's tired of fucking her.
Yep.
Right.
Like, that's so true in the sense that, like, I mean,
I told you what my move was in college to kind of like make girls laugh was I would steal
you
like
roofie him and then
I would well
Fill him up with nitrous.
that was if the first move didn't work.
we should talk about that video.
But the first move was always stealing comedy bits from stand up and like using that in my conversation because
nice.
girls don't watch stand up comedy very much
Yeah.
usually.
Their attention
The
span,
problem
I'm
the
just
problem is sometimes they would like call me out on I just move on to the next one. But
I just picture you doing like
Dane Cook, man, people loved it and they thought it was hilarious. The girls thought it was hilarious.
Which
and I was
so funny.
I just
Exactly.
picture you like doing like like Bill Cosby, Jello, and like just like totally not.
Bill Cosby, bro.
I just picture him doing like
just
the
steal
whole Dane Cook dragon bit.
Yeah.
Oh, the fucking dragon just.
What's the
not that.
what's
it's
the-
a little more subtle than that.
Rodney Dangerfield? I could be like, well, you're
respect.
killing me out
No
here. Yeah, like, I can see you doing like this.
no
Really,
respect at all.
yeah, I can see you doing
That was-
that.
that
They'd be
was the
like, what the
move.
fuck is
That
this
was
guy's
the move.
problem?
That's fucking weird.
It was a good move for sure.
Oh, that's funny.
That's awesome, man.
Something we could talk about real quick because I know you're trying to get out of here because you got shit to do.
Well,
Pacer game, That's not what I want to talk about.
That's what we're getting ready to do.
Yeah, we're getting ready to go watch this space game. I'm not gonna.
Which,
I'm gonna
by
drink.
the way, Victor Oladipo, he's my boy.
Yep.
And
IU,
your
baby.
boy?
IU.
oh, well, actually, no, we do. We play Call of Duty together.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
That's fucking cool.
You guys suck each other's dicks too, or just kidding. I don't.
As long as he,
Jake's going off the rails today.
as long as he pays me.
I'm just being crazy. I'm
I
sorry.
am a whore to the money.
But what I want to talk about is that video. Have you guys seen of the girl getting roofied and they catch it on tape?
I
Yeah,
think
dude,
that's
that
completely
shit's
fake.
crazy.
I
Yeah,
think
she's
it's fake.
swinging around. I think it might be
I
too,
haven't
but
seen
yeah.
this video.
I think it's completely
Oh,
fake.
it's wild.
It's
You
fake.
think
I think
so?
it's fake because the guy is so nonchalant. Just like he looks like he's picking cherries. He's like
Yeah.
just like dropping them in, like, and you see him just like throwing
It's
in the cup.
a
real quick.
PSA. Somebody did it professionally.
It worked out well because there's a lot of idiots out there that are like.
I mean, not that
"Whoa."
it hasn't happened.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's true. I know quite a few people that have been roofied.
I feel like I have been
Yeah.
before.
My
I've-
girlfriend did.
I've roofied myself.
No way.
Yeah, just to try it, just to see what happens.
snort it?
Are you
Age.
serious?
Snort
Yeah,
it straight
just
to the dome.
Just to see what happens and just to see what it was
God,
like. And
I
it
just
was.
thought of how much I hate.
Did you forget everything?
You don't necessarily forget. You just. It's like you're consciously there, but you can't like really act.
Have you ever taken Ambien?
Nope.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't ever take prescription drugs. I've really never been even prescribed to much, except when I was like younger. My grandfather died like 6 years ago or something like that. I went to Florida. My brother and me, I hadn't seen him in a while. He's 10 years older than me, but like completely like crazy and fun. Total nutball.
Right.
So he takes an Ambien. I take it. My mom gives it to me because I'm like upset because my grandfather died. She's like, "This will help you sleep." So I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, whatever." At the time, I didn't really know what Ambien was. So I take it, and then me and my brother do a couple shots of whiskey.
Oh, that's a
nice.
good choice.
And then,
Smart.
but I was like younger. I didn't
Yeah,
know
you
really
didn't
what I
know.
was doing. And then the weirdest thing happened because if you don't go to sleep, you get like drunk, but in the weirdest way possible. And then we woke up the entire house. We were like doing this weird, like my brother was acting like a zombie. It was
you guys
just
were playing night crawlers
it
from
was fucking
Always
weird,
Sunny
dude.
in Philadelphia.
But it was like I felt like I was on like some kind of like really weird drug because it was like I was hammered
awesome.
immediately because
Yeah.
I only did 2 shots and the pill or whatever, and I was just like acting like we woke up my grandmother. She came out in her little nightie, like, "What are you guys doing?" like
Next
super,
thing you know, you shoot her with like a Nerf gun or something.
and we're like laughing at her, like she's like, "What's going on?" And we're just like can't even like
help
stop
it.
laughing. Yeah. It was nuts. Sorry,
Goodness
I know. I'm getting off the rails.
No, you've been cracking me the fuck up the entire time.
I wish you would have said it in the German accent though, because I'm imagining she would have a German accent.
She has a small. I mean,
Call back. I like it.
back to sleep.
what is going on out here?
It's like
Quiet down.
It's like the grandma from
I have to
Beer
get
Fest.
up and make schnitzel. What are you doing?
You frightened me.
I'm very frightened right now, boys.
It's like the grandma from Beer Fest where she
Yeah.
like is slapping the
just like
The
a
sunset.
wieners, yeah. She was a Polish whore, or whatever they. I don't know.
Next weekend, the Super Troopers 2
Hell
coming
yeah.
out.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
pumped.
Really pumped about that.
1, 2, 3.
Shit.
Uno, dos, tres.
Now I gotta
Do
figure
it.
Out, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna see that now.
You pay.
Well,
and
I'm
then-
just hoping it's not all sold out like the Avengers movie was.
Give it a day; it'll be on a web.
yeah, you
Right.
don't have to see it immediately. Wait
Well,
2 days and you
I
can get a
don't
ticket.
want to get it ruined by other people.
Well, don't listen to anybody.
That's hard to do.
Isolate yourself.
All right, where we at? What we doing? We're done here.
I think we're pretty close to done.
Okay.
How'd everybody feel this went?
Good. We could do. Too bad there's not a stripper here because he get like last week we were like trying to wrap it up and he was like, "So what was like stripping last?"
I feel okay. So I feel like we didn't get to ask her that
No,
very
that
many
was-
No.
stripper questions.
You guys
And
had
I
a
was like,
stripper
come
on
we
last
gotta-
weekend?
Yeah.
No, ex stripper.
Extra.
She's
yeah.
her name's Miranda and she has a podcast called Miranda's World.
Yeah.
And she's actually a very successful podcaster.
Yep.
And she is I want to make that clear that she is no longer a stripper, but talks openly about
Being a stripper.
But she has a premium Snapchat account.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that's stripping in 2018.
Won't be checking that out. That'll get me in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be like, look at my Snapchat. My
And
girlfriend
your
walks by.
debit
I'm
card
like,
will be
"Oh, boy."
charged.
Yeah. But yeah, anything
So-
else you guys want to?
The main thing that I want to say is I think that we've had a very, very good success at tying the songs that we're playing at the end into what we talked about.
Great success.
And I just think that it's worked out really well for us. So are you still wanting to go out to the
Nope.
yodeling Walmart kit?
Yes.
All right.
Surprise! This is gonna be great. So if you're thinking about tuning out, don't.
Can I get your phone real quick or the connection?
I don't have.
Because I have.
I thought you had.
I have
it
it pulled up, but I just need the cord.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast.
And next week you got some. We have special guests, right? Who do you got?
Yeah, next week is going to be Chris Spangle from the We Are Libertarians movement podcast. It's not movement. I don't know why I said movement. It's the We Are Libertarians podcast, and then we also have the Monday American coming on to talk libertarianism and the history behind it. It's and we're going to make it funny. We're going to make it entertaining because there's a lot of stuff that's entertaining about that.
And Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, check it out, guys.
Really
He'll be here next week. He's going to talk about Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure 3.
No, is that actually happening?
Yeah.
So
Well, we'll find out next week when we talk to him.
He's gonna be here.
it'd be radical adventure, right?
Yeah, I
Because
can't say
there's been bonus,
yeah.
excellent, radical.
I don't know about radical, but they'll use a word that.
Honestly,
Rad-ass.
The next movie,
Rad-ass
the
should
next
be
movie
used.
I'm really pumped for is the Cobra Kai movie. Have you guys seen that?
Well, is
YouTube?
it a movie or are they doing a show?
It's going to be a show on
Yeah.
YouTube, but
I want to see that, and I want to see Lost in Space because Netflix just released a reboot of Lost in Space.
Nice.
I also rewatched Lost Boys the other day.
Was it good?
I
So
love
good,
Lost.
dude.
Does
That's
it
such a
hold
great
up
movie.
even though it's in the 80s?
Yeah.
Any movie
Yeah.
that has
Okay.
the Corys together is solid.
What's the guy that's bad guy that's from 24?
Kiefer Sutherland?
Kiefer Sutherland. Dude, I went to.
He's actually a good guy.
yeah, that's
but
what I thought.
I know who he was talking about.
He's the bad
He's
guy.
the good guy.
He's a good guy, dude.
Kiefer Sutherland is the good guy, right?
In
Yeah.
Lost
Jack
Boys?
Bauer?
Oh, in Lost Boys.
he's the
Yeah,
bad guy in
he's
Lost
the bad
Boys.
vampire. But what I'm saying is, okay, I went to that Tokyo, what is it called? Karaoke place in Cincinnati. And when we went there was a guy that was like dressed in like half drag.
Yeah.
And he looked just like, he had his hair like Kiefer Sutherland and had like dangling cross ear, like, you
Nice.
know, and it was a guy, he had a leather jacket on, but then he had like fishnet skirt on.
It's weird.
And it was like a mix between like I don't know what you want to call it, like a cross dresser and Kiefer Sutherland. And I was so drunk, I was like, dude, you look like Kiefer Sutherland in Lost Boys. And he was like, dude,
He's like, that's what I was going for.
Yeah, he like blew me
How
off.
did you know?
That's what we got to start doing on the show. Like maybe a segment to where we recommend movies. And
Well, that's
TV
what I was
shows.
just about to ask. Like, I just watched The Outsider. Shane and I talked about it on the
Yeah.
podcast before.
Remind
with
me,
Jared
what's,
Leto.
What's the
Jared Leto.
outside- Is that the one where he's John Lennon?
No, he's trying to be. If John Lennon was
Jared
a
Leto.
samurai,
Or-
Jared Leto joins the Yakuza.
Oh, nice.
It's good.
he chopped his
It's
finger
my
off.
suggestion. If you haven't seen it, watch it.
He had no honor and he chopped his finger off.
Okay, that was extremely racist. Thanks, Shane. Ryan, do you have a Netflix or suggestion movie? Television show?
Yeah, he's
whatever.
gonna say something so
I was-
stupid.
No, it's
Rad ass, dude.
It's not
fucking
really
rad,
rad-ass, but
Saw it.
if you're a history buff, the Kennedy series on CNN,
Nice.
Nice.
it's top notch.
Ooh, I'm so smart.
You gotta be.
What's
somebody.
yours? What's your recommendation?
Lost Boys.
Lost Boys.
All right, I'm gonna go with The Last Days of Night. Have you guys
Ooh, yeah,
heard
yeah,
this?
yeah.
It's the new 30 for 30 ESPN did, and it talks about Bobby
Oh,
Knight's
is that finally
last
on?
days.
I've
Yeah.
been waiting for that.
It talks about the last days of him over at IU, and it talks about how
Nice.
funds from IU and the state were keeping things secret in order for him to prolong his career.
I can't wait to see the thing about Ric Flair too.
I watched
yeah.
that one. That one's good.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And there's also an Andre the Giant.
Saw
That
that,
just
on
came out.
HBO.
On HBO.
That's good.
Yep.
It's good. The
Haven't
guy's
seen
got
it.
Still
massive
alive?
hands. No, he's dead.
It's not all that
He
big.
died a long time ago.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, when you
Right.
drink 50 beers a day.
And like
You-
a
And
case of wine.
his hand was like this like when he made a fist, it was as tall
You guys
as
wanna
this
hear-
water bottle.
Anybody want a peanut? Okay, all right.
Great movie.
But yeah, the podcast is growing. Thank you everybody for listening. I hope you enjoy it. Shane, how do we usually get out of here?
Yeah, like you said, I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast and hopefully the juice was worth the squeeze.
And we've got a banger for you.
Yeah.